of you are in university at the moment or studying. But you know, I'm here to keep it real with you. I mean, I could come here and preach that stay in school bullshit and stuff, but I feel everybody has to find their own path. And the way I see school is, I see there's education. Whereas education is when someone is so like well versed in a particular art which allows them to excel at it, you know, if they're educated in what they do. And then there's school, which I see as kind of like an institution. And that's basically where the premises for this piece came. So you want to get a degree. Why? Let me tell you what society will tell you. Increases your chances of getting a job, provides you with the opportunity to be successful, your life will be a lot less stressful. Education is the key. Let me tell you what your parents will tell you. It provides you an opportunity to be successful, your life will be a lot less stressful. Education is the key. Now let's look at the statistics. Steve Jobs, 7 billion. Richard Branson, net worth 4.2 billion. Oprah Winfrey, net worth 2.7 billion. Mark Zuckerberg, Henry Ford and Bill Gates. Now here comes the coup de grace. Looking at these facts, what's your conclusion? Neither of these individuals in being successful ever graduated from a higher learning institution. Now I'm ready to hear you guys protest. Now money is only the medium by which one measures worldly success, and some idiots will say I don't do it for the money. And what are you studying for? To work for a charity? You need more clarity? Let's look at the statistics. Jesus, Muhammad, peace be upon him, Gandhi, Socrates, Beethoven, Shakespeare, Jesse Owens, Sean Carter, Michael Joseph Jackson, Michael Jeffrey Jordan. Were either of these people unsuccessful or uneducated? All I'm saying is that if there was a family tree, hard work and education would be related, but school would probably be a distant cousin. Because if education is the key, then school is the lock. You can only be characterized on how much you allow yourself to believe that red means green and continue to go when everyone else says stop. Because school is supposed to expand your horizon and your vision. But Malcolm X dropped out of school and learned how to read in a prison. What does that tell you about education? Is there any religious people in the room? Proverbs 17:16. It does a fool no good to spend money on an education. Why? Because he has no common sense. For example, George Bush. Education is about inspiring one's mind, not just filling their head with ideas. Take this from me, because I'm an educated man myself, who only came to this realization after countless hours in the library, with a can of Red Bull keeping me awake till dawn, and another can in the morn, in between piles of books which probably equated to the same amount I had spent on my rent, memorizing dates, facts and figures right down to the letter, half of which I never remember, and half of which I forget right after the exam and the start of the next semester. I often found myself following the cleverest kid around looking for the notes for the last lecture. I often found myself running to class just so I could find a place on which I could rest my head and fall asleep without making a scene. Ironic, because that's the only time I ever spent in university chasing my dreams. And then after nights with a dead mind, I'd then find myself in a queue of half-awake student zombies waiting to hand in an assignment. Maybe that's why they called it a deadline. And after 3 years of mental suppression and frustration, my proud mother didn't even turn up to my graduation.
Woo! My God.
Now, I'm not saying school is evil and there's nothing to gain, but I'm just saying understand its purpose and reassess your aims. Being educated is not about learning facts from a book to pass an exam. Picasso was educated in creating art. Shakespeare was educated in the art of all that was written. Colonel Harlan Sanders was educated in the art of creating Kentucky Fried Chicken. Understand education's true meaning. I once saw David Beckham take a free kick. I watched as the side of his Adidas sponsored boot hit the ball at an angle which caused it to travel to the skies as though it was destined for the heavens. Then when it reached the peak of its momentum, it switched directions. I watched as the goalkeeper froze, as though reciting to himself the laws of physics, and his eyes trying to convince his brain that he was indeed witnessing the spectacle of the leather swan that was swooping towards him, then diving, but only a milli of a fraction of a second too late. And just before the net of the goal embraced the FIFA-sponsored ball, and as though it was the prodigal son returning home, and England erupted into cheers, I looked at the play and thought to myself, damn, when it comes to football, David Beckham is one really educated man. Homie, this shit is basic. This is my dissertation. Welcome to graduation. Thank you.